Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Angel Wallace Productions. Please forgive my absence, but I was hit with the flu so bad it really just knocked me down. And it took forever to get over with because it was coming in stages. It was just horrible. But I'm back now, and my background's a little different in that I'm waiting for I'm waiting for the guys to come and assemble my new desk, and it's taken them forever as well, so I had to do a makeshift in my living room to get the word out. So pardon my voice, okay? It's not the best, but I'll see if I can get through it. And I'm so grateful to all of you. Thank you for not leaving me. I know everybody gets frustrated when nothing's coming out and nothing's being done, and I couldn't record anything to let you know because I had already disassembled my unit, and they had delivered my desk on Friday, a gift from my daughter, and but it was going to take them till this week to come and assemble it, so I'm still waiting on them. And so I just got frustrated, and I said, you know what, I'm just going to set it up right here and just move forward until they can come and assemble it. And so I can move right back into my office space. So thanks to each and every one of you for your loyalty. I do appreciate that very much, that you haven't left me. And today we're going to be continuing on with the journals because we're just about done. Chapter 9, April 30th, 1991. All days are holy, therefore make every day on earth day. Greetings, Druthea. I am Sananda. I come in the service of Holy God, ASHTAR, and the creation. Thank you for your attention. Now, sometime during your middle 1960s, there was started something you once called Earth Day. One day was chosen that ones would honor Mother Earth, and awareness was encouraged about the destructive actions of humans towards Earth, such as the use of fossil fuels, which contributed to various forms of pollution, disposal of garbage, and polluting industries. This one, Druthea, remembers that in her school it was organized that ones who so chose would not take the buses, but instead would walk to school to show their support of Mother Earth. Now, this one lived some 10 miles from her school, but she and several others were most anxious to help Mother Earth by walking together. It was a small seed toward the rest of this creation, which also sustains physical human life. Now, you have many so-called green movements which claim concern about the planet, and some of them are quite militant. Some concern themselves with education, and most all are controlled by the puppet master, the Antichrist, in which behind the facade of goodness and concern for Mother, the adversary weaves his destructive web. And you see, the adversary uses the goodness and concern which exists within the ones who become involved in those organized structures because they truly wish to help and take responsibility. Now, most do not know that they are used to bring more support to the adversary, that he may gain ever more control of you ones. This Commander Hatton has recently explained to you ones that you discern your enemy against life, which exists now most blatantly within most all government and other organized structures of your culture. The green movements are no exception. So now, what can you do? The first thing to remember is that every day is holy in God's kingdom. Therefore, make every day one in which you honor and bless and express your gratitude to Mother Earth for sustaining your physical life, and also you must consider her needs. Just as every day you honor and bless and express gratitude to God, Aton, for breathing the spirit of life within you, that you may give the one more opportunities for wondrous creative unfoldment and joy in life. Now, how do you assess the needs of Mother? Realize first that healing of Mother Earth begins with the healing of you. Each one of you who chooses service to God's will must release all illusions that bring disease upon your beings and separation from your source. You cannot heal for another. You can assist the healing of another by taking his hand in brotherhood and extending the love and gentleness of the Father, Mother, God within you. Most who now suffer in the body physical are simply so very starved for love, and they know not that the power to change and heal exists within them. The most difficult action for all of you to take is one of acknowledging your fears and facing the mirror of truth within you. And you will find that as you forgive and release your negative illusions of self, that you will be unable to support negative behaviors of self-deception in others. This does not mean that you must walk about in self-righteous indignation and force another to see himself the way you perceive is truth, even if it may be truthful perception. And realize that what you witness in the behavior of another, you have been or still are. So it is also true that which you admire most within another exists perhaps yet unblossomed within yourself. So what must you do to not support the adversary in yourself and in another? Ask God to show you that which you need to know for understanding. Ask God how you must handle every circumstance which comes before you. And then you must be willing to trust his will and listen carefully to that which he tells you. For example, many of you once scream within for attention and acknowledgement from your human brothers who exist within or even beyond your circle of experience. The inner child most often suffers from rejection of self and unworthiness in one who constantly seeks approval outside of God within him or her. How do you respond to one who walks about in a dither, in perceived self-hurt and rejection? Do you ignore this one? And do you become irritated or angry with this one? Or do you see yourself in this one and become afraid? We have observed all of these as well as similar responses. Now, ignoring and becoming angry with the troubled ones are often simply responses of fear and denial of same. Although ignoring the troubled one may simply be preoccupation at the time of observation of behavior and desire to ponder the situation more fully at a more convenient time frame. Now, another choice of response, the choice we would recommend in most cases, would be to, and as soon as possible within the circumstance, gently confront this one privately about your observation of the behavior exhibited and offer to listen to that which is troubling this one. In other words, love that little hurt child, that it feels safe and comforted. Now, if the one chooses to deny his or her feelings and not trust you to share, then you know that one is most fearful and attached thereof to his fear and feelings of vulnerability, perhaps from past perceived betrayal of trust by another. You can do no more than offer your hand of caring friendship and understanding in honor and integrity. You cannot force one to release of his fear and share his feelings. Then in either case, you must gently but firmly let that one know that which you have observed about their behavior, that they may have the opportunity to hear the truth within their own troubled being and perhaps begin to face itself and release the denial they hold tightly onto. If ones continue to use their denial as a form of emotional manipulation and even emotional tyranny of blame, punishment, and poor me mentality, then they will either sabotage themselves so that you ask them out of your presence until they come to terms with that which they do, or they will leave upon their own accord if continually confronted with the truth about their self-centered, manipulative, and blame-oriented behavior, and still find themselves unwilling to confront and release the behavior. The same sort of analogy can be made for this earth transition which is now occurring. All human souls will ultimately make a choice about whether or not they are willing to move with grace and integrity toward oneness with God. Those fragments of the one who choose to play the self-deceptive games of the adversary and also break the cosmic laws of balance of God and the creation will eliminate themselves from graduation class to God's higher realms of experience. So perhaps this helps you understand why we of the hosts have often stressed the importance of self-confrontation as well as monitoring thoughts, words, and deeds that you learn to recognize, those thoughts and behaviors that hinder or even obstruct your path to God so that you can release them. At the same time, you ones can truly assist one another when you act with integrity and pure intent to actually assist understanding by communication, honestly, with a perceived troubled one, and not instead condemn this one for reasons often involving altered ego, self-righteous superiority. And as you practice with each new circumstance your positive communication skills, you will find yourselves lifted within a whole new level of human, spiritual compassion and understanding, which will reward you with a sense of inner peace and balance, which has often eluded you once in your daily interrelationships with one another. May the truth of God be accepted by you, of his fragments, that you find the doors of inspiring possibilities open easily within you. I give honor to you, of my brethren, who truly desire and thus find fulfillment in serving God's will. Your rewards in his service are limitless and beyond your conscious comprehension. Thank you, precious little sister Dorothea, for your service. I am Sananda, one with God, in service to the holy divine God Aton and the creation, Adonai and Salu. I love you ones greatly and am humbled to be of service to our Father and to you, my brethren. Walk in peace. Chapter 10, May 2nd, 1991. Friendship and the Path to Oneness. Greetings, precious Dorothea. I am Sananda, and I come in service of Holy God, Aton of Light, and to you, my brethren. Often ones, including your hosts of God, speak about the concept of friendship. And for many of you, friendship brings to mind various meanings and experiences. This term often holds special meaning, which may be very different with each of you, considering your experience of understanding relating to this label. First, let us define the term friend, as it is given within your own dictionary. A favored companion, intimate, a valued associate or acquaintance, one with whom one is united in some purpose, cause, etc. A patron or supporter. You can see that by your own definition, friendship is defined loosely to mean casual or informal acquaintances or supporter who you share interests or business with. It can also mean a very intimate companion with which one could imagine as either a sweetheart or marriage partner, or even a close, personal, platonic, purely spiritual sweetheart. Purely spiritual or devoid of sensual feeling, a companion. And generally, you ones like to classify and comprehend most everything into levels or degrees, including friendship. This is usually reasonable as long as it is done within self to allow focused understanding about your self-created limitations, and as long as it also allows positive focus on what are your priorities and commitments in service to God, the One. Ideally, all friends or associates within your circle of experience must contribute to the same priorities and focused intent, most especially when the priorities and focused intent are clearly intended to be in service to God, to receive maximum benefit of successful achievement of defined goals. Even if one fragment demands an inordinate amount of energy from the whole to achieve self-centered acknowledgement and attention from the whole, then the whole becomes much lessened in its ability to achieve God's will in balanced harmony. The balance must be made for the integrity of purpose to be allowed the most fulfillment for all. We will suggest that ones who continually find themselves unhappy and unfilled within a focused unit of beings most often display behavior of what is termed emotional manipulation. This means one who, because of intense negative perceptions and emotional attachments, often seeks to control or manage others. We will suggest that ones who continually find themselves unhappy and unfulfilled within a focused unit of beings most often display behavior of what is termed emotional manipulation. This means one who, because of intense negative perceptions and emotional attachments, often seeks to control or manage others for one's own profit or purposes. For example, by continuously complaining about what is their own problems, blaming another or others as the cause, and then often seeking sympathy from another or others to support their opinion and self-created victimhood to make it better for them. These emotional manipulating ones ultimately seek to cause division of the whole. Verbal communication of true intent and clarification for these ones is not easy, and often they perceive themselves to be used or victim of others' abuse or misunderstanding directed against them. So, in frustration, because often ones in their circle of experience begin to avoid them so that they can accomplish their own work in service, the emotional manipulator will vent his frustrations in indirect but often effective ways. Ones in the circle are most often confused by the passive resistant, or even what is perceived as lack of emotional control behavior exhibited, and strive to make it better for the troubled one. Well, this one has then, of course, accomplished what he needs, and that is often to be accommodated in his often desperate need to be appreciated and or to be center of attention and importance, thus diminishing the needs and the effectiveness of the whole. Ultimately, the ones who find overall fulfillment within their circle must, to preserve the integrity of focus of the whole in service to God, confront the emotional manipulator honestly about the behavior and possibly suggest the departure of this one to work it out on his own. It is seldom easy to, first of all, identify accurately the problem. But once it is accomplished with reasonable understanding, the ones must face the inevitable, and that is to decide to instigate the change necessary to bring back balance to the whole. Remember, you can offer your hand of communication and understanding. Only you cannot successfully spend energy to make it better for another who is unwilling to face self in responsibility. These ones most often wish only to dump upon another self-created negative emotional attachments, which they still continually feed, that they not face and be responsible for the change within themselves. The best and responsible action you can do is to be direct about your observations to this one, and let them know that you will no longer allow the behavior to interfere with the integrity of the work of the whole. This is much like your current world situation. And as you can see, lack of integrity Denial of truth and allowing of unbalanced and unacceptable behavior happens first within your inner circles of experience, and then ultimately this disease has expanded to most all facets of business and government. You ones have simply allowed the unreasonable and intolerable behavior of a very few to bring down the whole. And this irresponsible allowing must stop, precious ones. Do you understand? Now that I wish to concentrate on this pure and spiritual unity of brotherhood, of which even the word platonic does not fully define, I will ask and allow you to now envision for a moment what sort of love within friendship I am efforting to describe to you ones. Now, what do you feel? If you were able to tap into that higher concept within you, you may feel quite warm and tingly within, or perhaps a sense of well-being and serenity. Do you feel closer to God? Can you begin to feel the kind of love which God holds for you? That kind of love which ones often call unconditional, meaning not limited by conditions or absolute. I think perhaps that a new term such as absolute love is most appropriate, because absolute defined means free from restriction, unlimited, unconditional, complete, perfect, unadulterated, pure, not related to anything else, independent, positive, certain. Yes, indeed. How does learning about absolute love set with you ones? All right, then. Absolute love is that sort of love we will envision together. Now, in order to become a valued friend to others, you must first become a valued friend to yourself, which God within you most wholeheartedly encourages. This, you can say, is honoring yourself as God within with absolute love, which then allows you the freedom and the grace to honor, high regard, respect, or esteem all others with absolute love. Sound easy? Well, like all cosmic awareness, knowledge, and wisdom worth striving for, it means letting go of limited alter ego perceptions to gain understanding. And before you can let these limited perceptions go, though you must recognize what they are and that they are actually limited perception. Well, Chelas, this is what makes the prize of spiritual, creative self-discovery so precious. That challenge to self of attaining realization of truth. Now, the next concept that you must fully understand to enable you to attain absolute love within your friendships with humanity is the law of one, meaning you are related to all fragments, seen and unseen, of created, of God related. We are all related. Fully understanding this concept and truly living it as well is quite humbling, precious ones. Quite humbling and quite wondrous indeed. So then, learning to fully comprehend, develop, and live true cosmic friendship and unity with all who choose to accept your hand guarantees you your God-authorized diploma of graduation towards oneness in the higher realms of God. Now, Dirthea has long pondered a line about love which was spoken in a movie entitled A Love Story, filmed, I believe, sometime in your late 1960s. The female character within this sad love story told her sweetheart, "Love is never having to say you're sorry." Well, let us think about this statement, Chelas. Does this confuse you? Do you believe you understand its meaning? We will break this statement down in definition that perhaps clarity can be accomplished for all. Let us first give definition of the term love as given in Funk Wagnall's dictionary. A deep devotion or affection for another person or persons. A strong sexual passion for another person. Sexual passion in general or the gratification of it. Isn't it interesting that the definition of love you are given begins quite nicely and then erroneously includes sexual activities and feelings? No wonder you ones remain confused about what love is. Certainly, the adversary has developed its own definition of that which it knows little about. And most of you ones have bought this lie, going as far as calling sexual intercourse little pet terms such as making love. Making love? Do you begin to see what a ridiculous statement that is? At the very least, this act of physical lust behavior is making and perpetuating limitation of love expression, and in the worst cases, it is making disease through hateful, manipulative, defiant behavior intent. Well then, if sexual fulfillment be the way ones define love within, then certainly ones will find many reasons to say, I'm sorry. Let us continue defining that statement, I'm sorry, is what is termed an apology, which means a statement of explanation expressing regret for some error or offense. So then one is making amends for perceived or real error or offense committed against another. First of all, you ones have not quite reached perfection in love expression and understanding, for this lesson is one in which many of you are now working toward understanding and living during this time sequence of your development. If one is able to comprehend and adapt his behavior toward absolute love, then certainly his regrets and errors against self and others become gradually inconsequential. Does this sound perhaps a bit idealistic or ideal meaning? A concept of perfection? A person or thing taken as a standard of perfection? A high principle, lofty aim? That which exists only as a concept of the mind? And what think you one's perfection is? Well, it is not God, ASHTAR, our supreme creator. The perfect ideal? We've said it more than a few times. Everything short of God is not yet perfection of God. Perfection in the making or unfolding perhaps. And yet each fragment exists expressly as a part of God, ASHTAR, perfection. So in a sense, we as fragments, as the one, have implanted within our beings by our very creator the design of perfection which is of our Father, Mother, God, ASHTAR. This is the ideal by which we are able to discern and measure our degree of success in our spiritual creative manifestation. So then, we might suggest a change to that phrase to read, absolute love means never having to say you're sorry. Until you ones return to the one in spiritual perfection, you will make errors and feel the need and find circumstances where it is appropriate to apologize to God, to yourself, to another, so that forgiveness can be allowed to manifest the necessary balanced healing within self. Your God-given conscience is your guide within for what is right versus wrong thoughts and behaviors according to the cosmic laws of balance of God and the creation. This does not mean that you ones will not at times be able to truly demonstrate absolute love within your circumstances and relationships. Simply that you have yet not learned to exist every moment in that space of being of perfect, absolute love. This is, as I have explained earlier, what many of you ones are now learning about accomplishing. Living absolute love in a much more magnificent degree of success that you have previously accomplished. May you ones recognize with clarity and understanding the importance of balanced friendship with one another for mutual fulfillment and joy on your path towards oneness. I am Sananda, one with God. Thank you for your attention, Chelas. Thank you, precious Drithea, for your service. Salut. And I'm going to stop at that point, and we will continue on with chapter 11 upon our return. Okay, folks, I thank you for being so loyal and for not leaving. It was a struggle for me. It seems as I get older, it hits me harder. So I love each and every one of you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing the videos with others, and all the links that apply to all the readings that I have done. And thank you for subscribing, and just thank you for being here. I just love each and every one of you. Okay, folks. Love you. See you. Bye.